Vulturing Network.
What's good, guys? Welcome back to Talking at the Movies. I'm Eddie Santino.
And this is Mo. This is our Christmas episode, right?
Christmas week, yeah, I guess
Yeah.
it kind of counts. Merry
Are you gonna
Christmas,
do like some?
everybody.
You're gonna do some like fancy graphics of like sleigh bells and like little like snow droplets.
I might put Christmas lights across the top. I don't know. I'll see what I could be bothered doing. Oh man, so this episode was supposed to be a special episode for us. This episode was supposed to be our Wonder Woman 84 review. Literally, Mo was gonna watch it Friday. I was probably gonna watch it on the Wednesday when it dropped. But literally, the day it dropped, we went back into fucking lockdown. London was dragged back into it. Cinemas are shut down. And it's not available on any streaming sites. Apparently, they're still negotiating with Sky to get it up. So it's like...
So today, I've just noticed they have announced today they all go to premium VOD January the 13th in the UK.
Yeah, the fuck? So what's the point? It's available in what cinemas? Like somewhere in the countryside.
Yeah. We have actually got there is a news story I put in the news about like the box office take. Oh, we might as well just talk about it now, seeing as we're on it, right? It's taken in somewhere around 30 million worldwide, and a lot of that comes out of China.
Wow. So it's actually in cinemas in China. How come they haven't bootlegged it yet? That's crazy.
Well, it hasn't. Well, there's no point bootlegging it, right? In like literally like 4 days' time, there's going to be like pristine copies.
But
China, who wants to sit there? Who wants to sit there with like a camcorder job?
That's
that like
never
so
stops them in China. That never stops them. They throw all that shit up.
Mate, that's so 1990s. It's basically made 18.8 million in China. And then the rest of it has come from like Japan, Taiwan, Hong Kong, those sort of places. It's like in this country, there's only like apparently only a quarter of cinemas are open, and there are none in London.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
and they've still been doing promotion for it. Like promoting what? No one can go see it.
It's
Farmers
so bizarre.
can go see it. That's all.
This should just have got a global day and date sort of like streaming release as well.
Yeah. It's crazy.
It seems like it's the most half-hearted attempt at launching a film and just done in a really poor way.
I think Warner Bros. At the point now where they're like, fuck it, just throw it out. I don't care no more.
Well, they could have just waited another 6 months, right? Vaccines on the way. They could have probably got like this into the cinemas.
Does this vaccine cover this new strain we've got running around UK now?
Well, apparently we are being told it does. I would just stay at home and make sure you don't bloody get it.
Crazy, man. Yes, guys, we are back. Whoa, how have you been this week?
How have I been, mate? I've been like how I've been for like the last like 9 months, living in my little man cave, going out for the occasional run. Today, I was like went out for a 4-mile run prior to doing this.
How much of that is walking? Be honest.
All running, mate. I've got used I track myself in Strava, so it tracks like how quickly you do it, like your heartbeat rate, your like the calories you burn.
I've taken up skipping. It's as close as I'm getting.
Skipping is like fucking like hard, mate. It's like I would love to do it, right? But I just don't want the neighbors like sitting and like looking at me outside.
That's the problem with the house. I have to wait until everyone's going to sleep and then do it.
Nah, skipping, like if you watch like any training montage, right?
Yeah.
Where they're just going for it. And if you think like little girls in the play yard, like fucking make it look like an art form.
Double Dutch, the 2 ropes, like easy. It shows you how much energy you have when you're a kid.
Have you actually
a walking Duracell battery?
Have you actually tried it out? Because it is like really hard to like keep the momentum going.
No, I'm serious. I've been skipping.
Yeah. But like but to keep the momentum going, like you suddenly realize like how tiring it actually is.
Yeah, it's all right for about a minute. Then like once you get tired and the rhythm fucks up and it's not great. I felt like I was having a heart attack. It was not good.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. But yeah, man, not much. Like we said, we're back in lockdown, so can't really go out and do shit no more again.
So just for people who are listening to us outside of the UK, over the weekend it was announced parts of the country, so London and what we call the Southeast, have been given an order not to mingle over Christmas. As in, Christmas has literally, well, they say cancel. It hasn't, because you can still celebrate Christmas.
Yeah, no one's going to listen to that. People like you look at people are just packing out the train station.
Did you see those videos?
Yeah.
Or like just They go like, we can't guarantee social distancing because the amount of people that are trying to like evacuate London.
Run.
Yeah, apparently there's pictures today. They're going like London looks deserted as like there's been a mass exodus. Right, but I'll tell you what I've been watching. I actually watched something that I actually think might make it into my top 5 this year. I've been sitting on this for a while. Eddie, you've got to watch this. There is a show that came out this year called Dave. Right, it's an FX show. It's a comedy, but it's not like a sitcom comedy type thing, right? Imagine like It's Always Sunny type thing.
Oh, I know this one. This is with the rapper, the white rapper.
This is with the rapper, right?
Yeah,
This guy, not only is he like a white Jewish rapper,
I know him. I know
honestly believes. Yeah, shit. I did not know he was the real thing. Yeah,
I watched been around for years.
I watched his video the other day, Ex-Boyfriend. It is so funny.
Very good.
It is so funny. This show, watch it. I started it on like Friday afternoon. I was like done by Sunday, and I was pacing myself. There's only 10 episodes, the half-hour episodes, but it is just absolutely superb.
Yeah, there's a guy who is in it, who I listen to one of his podcasts a lot. Andrew Santino. He's the redhead guy. I think he's like his best friend or something. He's always talking about it. I think they're shooting season 2 now.
They are indeed, yeah. So the redheaded guy becomes like his manager. But the whole cast of characters is superb. I have to give a special shout out to the lady who plays his girlfriend. Not because of her looks, she's a very gorgeous lady, but in the show itself, her character is like one of those like just incredibly supportive, incredibly understanding, and just like the ideal woman. And when I say the ideal woman, I don't mean like every man's fantasy that she's just submissive and all that. Yeah, I mean she's actually literally a wonderful human being. As in, you've got this guy.
Completely unrealistic that we'll never.
No. But it's like you've got this guy who doesn't make any money from like rapping, right? Has got like a couple of songs up on YouTube. Doesn't know anyone in the industry, has never rapped in front of everyone, but tells everyone he meets he is genuinely the greatest rapper alive. And his girlfriend like just loves him. Like she supports him in his dream and stuff. Dude, honestly, watch it. It's on the iPlayer.
Yeah.
Yeah, superb, really funny. They in one of, I think it's the final episode, they do like he does one of his raps and he does like this really elaborate long video to go with it, and it is like hilarious. Everyone finds it incredibly offensive, but it is just he goes to jail and he likes his experience in jail. It's brilliant.
Yeah, he's a funny guy. I do like
yeah, very, very funny guy. On the other end of the spectrum, I watched a show called The Undoing, which is HBO's latest offering with Hugh Grant.
Someone was telling me about this. I think he really liked this. Yeah, I think he liked it.
It was really good right up until the end, where it just fell off the end of a cliff. Now, I don't really want to spoil it for people because the outcome really is what you're like watching it for, and you may want to watch it this week before the end of the year. It is really good. It is really interesting. The way they build up the mystery does keep you kind of watching, but like the outcome in the final episode, it's only like 6 episodes, is not satisfactory.
Really? That's hard to really get excited to watch something if you know it ain't gonna end in a decent way. Like you invest all that time just for like.
But I will say, Hugh Grant, he's so versatile. We saw him at the beginning of this year in The Gentleman. We've seen him here again as like a non-Hugh Granty type character, and it's kind of like I'd like to actually see him in more stuff. Yeah,
there was a period where he kind of disappeared. Yeah, he was doing that whole rom-com.
Yeah,
Mr. Nice Guy. Mr. Rom-com. Yeah, for way too long. Good time he gets a bit sleazy and gritty. Yeah, he's a decent actor.
And the one other thing that like you just can't get away from is it's got Donald Sutherland in it, right? And Donald Sutherland just looks so much like his son. It's like this is what Kiefer Sutherland is gonna look like when he's older. They are like the spitting images of each other.
How old is he now? It's got to be like late 70s.
Oh, he's got to be really, because he was old like in the 90s. That dude.
Yeah, he was old in the 70s watching those old films. He's never been young.
Yeah,
so crazy.
But he doesn't look as though he's that old that he's at death's door or anything.
Yeah.
So kind of, it's an interesting one. It's worth watching. But like, yeah,
Would you rate Dave or would you rate The Undoing?
Dave, I'm gonna give Dave a 5 out of 5.
Ooh.
I enjoyed it that much. I don't know, because maybe it is very different from everything that is out there at the moment.
Mhm.
I like the humor in it. I like the rawness of it. Some of the stuff that he talks about, like he's obviously fascinated with like his penis. He literally is, because that whole little dicky stuff. But there is so much more stuff that goes around it.
Mm.
And I just like the way that they, like, some of his raps are just so funny, right? Because they're not conventional rap songs. Like Ex-Boyfriend is just so funny, especially if you watch the video when you're watching, when you're listening to that song. The Undoing, well, I'd give it a 3.
Yeah. So.
It's like, if you've got nothing else to watch, I'll definitely check it out. It's definitely one that I think women will gravitate towards, and it's probably a good thing to watch, like as a couple or something. You know, it'll kill a couple of nights. Good viewing.
Okay. Anything else?
And those are the kind of the main things I have watched this week. Obviously, we got to talk about the Discovery, the Mandalorian, and the Expanse.
We'll get to that. We know we're gonna get to that. You don't have to mention it. Jeez. I didn't watch anything new. I did watch stuff, but nothing new. Yeah. I just did my annual rewatch of the Blade Runner duology. Both of those movies, still beautiful movies. I love them. I dug out my where is it?
Your annual, like, surely that can only have started like last year or something.
Oh, how was it? Well, even the first one. I dug out my little projector, got it on the wall. Oh, it's like having your own personal cinema, man. I love it.
How big a picture does that produce?
As big as the wall you've got. As long as a distance you can put it.
Trading up. Look at that. Watching movies in style.
Yes.
No need for a cinema to be open.
Exactly. Bluetooth headphones.
Yeah.
Perfect. So yeah, watching those 1 and 2, 2024.
Listen, dude, you've got like no neighbors. I don't understand why you don't just have 2 big fuck off speakers like on either side of like your place, in your living room.
Speakers doesn't replace having headphones on and really having the sound pumped directly into your skull.
No, you want like the speakers and you want the subwoofer, and you just like, that will be the ultimate experience.
Oh, granted, I'll pay for it when I'm like 70. I won't have no hearing, but I'll enjoy it for now. What else did I watch? Again, Dread. Rewatched that on the projector screen. Beautiful, so cool film. Ghost in the Shell, the anime, 1995. You know what? The more I watch it, the less that's holding up for me. Great animation, beautiful, thought-provoking subject matter, but as a film, it's kind of starting to fall apart for me. I'm seeing so many more holes in it every time I watch it. Did you ever watch that film?
I've never watched Ghost in the Shell.
So I think that is one that, for the first time viewing, I think you'd actually, I don't know. Definitely something you should watch.
I think it is on my list of things that I should aspire to watch.
Yeah.
Especially from the anime list.
Appleseed, the movies are those. It's a lot of anime. And beyond that, nothing else new. Like, I really should have been taking that time to watch new shows and films, but I can't be bothered.
You should, man. You should. Mate, just make sure you check out Dave and finish Hunters.
Hunters?
The Nazi hunting show.
No.
Because you know what? Because I know you're going to like that. Like 5 years from now, you're going to be like, Mo, I blame you. You didn't push me hard enough to watch this.
No, I don't want to go back to that.
You do. You absolutely do.
All right, so let's get to the big shows. Start with the lesser of the two, which is still pretty good. Star Trek Discovery. Yeah.
So, did the ending mean anything to you?
I'm saying, should we skip Expanse? Shouldn't that be on our what we watched during the week?
Yeah, we're going to talk about it now, aren't we?
Okay, we'll do it after that.
Yeah, because is that going to become our weekly thing that we're going to talk about?
Should it be? I was wondering that. Like, is it broad enough that enough people will give a shit to talk about it week to week for us to hear about it?
It is like, it's like the hardcore sci-fi show, isn't it?
That's the thing. It's like, it's a very niche audience. Like, are we alienating people?
Yeah, but it's not like we go into like a half an hour in-depth conversation about these things. We normally do like a couple of minutes and move on.
That's true. What do you mean, like Discovery at the very end? What does it mean?
So
What?
you know, like with the Guardian Forever, like, would you just think like, where have they just pulled this like crap out of? Like, do you know its origin?
Of course not.
No. So there is an episode in Star Trek, the original series, where the Guardian of Forever first appears.
So you're talking about the guy who was with the bowler hat and that little portal door.
So in the original, they don't actually have the guy with the bowler hat. It literally is that sort of like that machine type thing.
Yeah.
And it's like out of like the original series, it is the most highly rated kind of episode. And I actually watched that on Friday morning before I actually watched Discovery. Just to kind of.
Did you know it was going to be in Discovery?
So I've got a friend who's actually been saying for like almost since the beginning of Discovery, they're gonna use the Guardian of Forever to send like Yo back, and I was going, "You're mad!" Like that's such a it's like a one thing that happened like 50 years ago that they're never gonna reference that, and lo and behold, that's exactly what happened.
Remind me where they sent it back to again.
So they didn't actually state where they've sent Yo back to. Obviously, it's up for anyone's guess, but I'm expecting they've sent her back to the time that they've just come from, so she can do the Section 31 show.
Ah, that'd be how you get out of that loophole, of course.
Yes, because we always knew she was going to have to go back.
Yeah.
But the rest of the episode itself, it was okay, right? It was the second half of like the first episode. Or the one that came from before.
It did kind of expose holes for me, even though as much as I enjoy the mirror universe, I think sometimes writers get a little too carried away with the evil versions of everybody, where it gets to a point that everybody can't be completely evil, because then nothing can get done. You can't run a society or run organizations if everybody's trying to kill each other and stab each other in the back.
There is that, but obviously, you know, the Cronenberg character did say there's something in their DNA that makes them evil. But I think this is a problem that Star Trek has in general. Like, so if you look at the Klingons, all the Klingons want to do is go into battle and war.
Yeah.
So you're kind of like, who are their engineers? Who are their poets? Who does their science?
Have we ever seen engineer or scientist Klingons?
No, they don't have any, do they? Because they just want to die in battle.
Yeah, but who maintains their ships? Who designs them? Who does all of that work?
Exactly.
So
that's the problem with like these one trait type of like races. Yeah. I'd say that the mirror universe has always been like a one trick pony. I've got to say I do like the depiction that they've had in Discovery over like previous ones. But you're absolutely right. It just like, how does anything get done? Because all people want to do is just kill each other. Yeah. And then when Yo basically tries to do this whole, actually, there's another way, they just want to kill her.
Yeah, it's just impractical. It gets to a silly point, and you kind of think, you have to for one, give birth to kids. Like, you have to show love has to be, not always has to be, and to raise these children, like.
Yeah, but like, but like Yo raised Michael, right? Picked her out from like as a child, and showed her like
love.
I guess love, yeah.
But that doesn't match with the character of the original.
It's in their DNA. They're just evil.
That's crazy. So it was like you said, it's fine. Second half of that show, but still enjoyable.
Yeah, but I love the Guardian of Forever kind of bit, just for them to bring that in, B, tie it into Enterprise, where they go, they try to use it during the Temporal War to like commit like crime and death, which it didn't want.
Yeah.
Hence why it went into hiding.
Mm-hmm. So how's it been as the resident Trekkie? How has this season been for you so far?
I thought the season started off pretty good, like the first few episodes, but it then went into like this episodic structure, and a lot of them just haven't been interesting. A lot of them have had like an A and B plot, and where the A plot is like the main story, and it's been about like getting kidnapped, books like Brother, the seed ship type thing. None of those have been particularly interesting. The really interesting story has always been the B plot, which makes up about like 5 or 6 or 7 minutes of each episode.
It's kind of switched places with the Mandalorian in the fact that it's taken the episodic stuff from Mando, and Mando's taken the more serialized stuff. It's like they flip-flopped.
They have very, very flip-flop. And my biggest fear is that they've actually written all the scripts for season 4 and gone into production before season 3 aired. So they haven't been able to get any of the fan feedback.
Yeah. Is this been a general because I know you're on those forums and those little sites today.
It really depends. I've been around people who have had a similar opinion. I've had other people who still think it's absolutely fantastic, and then there's those who have just disliked the show totally, whose minds that won't change at all.
Yeah, mixed bag for Star Trek Discovery, but something that definitely has had a mixed bag that's been pretty superb this season, I've got to say. Mando, The Mandalorian, season 2.
Why is it whenever I hear like The Mandalorian, I always just say, in my head, I always just think, Mando!
True. But, dude, this season finale. Whoa.
This was... Whoa. I mean, the last couple of weeks have just all been really good, and it's all been building up to this. Right.
We're going to go spoilers,
Big spoilers here, guys. If you have not seen the end of The Mandalorian, please forward. Jump forward by like 6-7 minutes. Or better yet, go watch that and then come back.
Ooh, this episode was more thrilling for me and more emotionally engaging than not just the last 3 movies, but the prequels. Like, I was really into it just for this little, I don't even know how long it was, but like the Dark Troopers.
It was like 42 minutes or something. It was not a long episode.
The Dark Troopers were awesome and menacing, like Terminators. I fucking think they were cool. Seeing the other Mandalorians come back, it was just so fucking cool. And then
it was more, you're absolutely right. It was more of a Star Wars film than any of the Star Wars films in the last sort of like 20 years have been.
Yeah. And that includes the post-credit scene, which thanks for mentioning that. In I would have stopped the video and not have seen the post-credit. So thank you.
So the very first thing I thought about that was like, shit, has there been like a post-credit sequence in every episode that I've missed?
I think there was. Couldn't have been.
No, I've not seen anything mentioned, but the episode itself, it was the only minor gripe I have about this episode is who builds a docking station for all their like most important hardware, i.e. the Dark Troopers, and then builds an airlock into their like.
At first, I was thinking that, but then I realized their machines. You may want immediate deployment, so you wouldn't really want them to come in and go around the ship. You just send them straight out, which they can survive out in deep space. So
yeah, but surely they're gonna look at that now and think that's actually a bit of a problem, really, because if somebody does come on board, they could easily just flush them all into a space.
Yeah, but they come back. We saw that they come back. They're boomerangs.
I like a lot of the stuff. What's his name? Giancarlo. He's very or Mr. Homoeus Boyus, very conniving. Far more conniving than your
Loco. That's cool.
Polo, is that it?
That's what I call
but that's not what this restaurant was called, though, was it?
Yeah, in Breaking Bad, El Polo Loco.
Is that what it was called?
Yeah.
Wasn't it called Harmonis Pius or something?
I think so.
I'm gonna have to look that up now. He was far more cerebral than like your average like villain in Star Wars, right? Especially that whole stunt that he pulled with like basically losing the lightsaber.
The dark saber, I love the fact that he's not a dumb bad guy and he's not just a sort of corny bad guy. There is you can see the gears turning in his head, like he's intelligent and he has a suaveness about him, which I really like.
Yeah, and also cleverness about him, right? I'm obviously glad they haven't killed him off though, so he'll still be around in some form or other next season.
There was a cool little fight he had with Mandalorian as well, when they making the Mando resort to pulling out, which I forgot he even had. I'm like, where the fuck did he pull that spear out of Beskar?
Yeah, that was a good fight. Well, I mean, he did use a spear against the Dark Trooper beforehand as well. Yeah, because remember he stabbed it in the.
No, Dark Trooper was after. That fight was after.
No, that fight was before.
You're right.
The fight was before.
You're right, it was before, wasn't it?
Yeah. because he beat the Dark Trooper, and then he went into the room where little baby Yoda was.
Yeah, and then took him. Yeah, that's right. You're right.
Yeah.
God, the Dark Troopers were cool. I love those.
That didn't seem comical though.
They were just.
But I did like the way. I like the way it was just like literally.
I love the way they actually moved robotic as well. Nothing like that in the films. Nothing as intimidating and tough like those. What are those like Imperial guards at the end of the Last Jedi? Those Reds.
Oh, the Red Guards.
Yeah, like they weren't even. They look cool, but they didn't really do nothing. Just twirl their friggin' shit around.
Do you? I know we need to talk about the ending here, but I guess you've raised an important question here, right? Do you see potentially maybe Kathleen Kennedy being phased out and Jon Favreau like basically being placed in charge?
I think they're just putting him in charge of the TV stuff because she was there during that whole.
She was, but like him and Dave Filoni, what they've been doing is obviously. It's gotten great fan response, right? And they've even turned me from somebody who didn't like season 1, and I really didn't like the opening of like their season. They have built quite a good story as they've gone on, and that those last like 4 or 5 episodes have absolutely been superb. And like we both agree, and I think the internet in general seems to agree that it's been better than any Star Wars film we've had in the last couple of decades.
And even Kathleen admitted during that whole investor unveiling thing that the crown jewel of the Star Wars universe right now is the Mandalorian.
That's the only thing that's there, right? There is nothing else.
It's kind of surpassed the films in terms of the love that it's gotten and the eyes that it's drawn to it.
Yeah, we're about to get 10 other TV shows.
Yeah, let's hope they take the same philosophy to those shows. But we got to get to the end, man.
But hold on, before we do that, but do you see what I mean? Once they start concentrating on the actual Star Wars core concepts, the show has just been so much more enjoyable.
It's just consistent storytelling. It doesn't for me. I guess it's for casual fans like yourself, Mo. You want true
the casual Star Wars fan.
You don't really truly love
the
Star
guy
Wars.
who's had like a Star Wars poster in his living room for since 1995.
Just because the casuals. But for those of us, we're happy to be in the universe. You don't need lightsabers and Jedis for that to be Star Wars.
But the stuff that has been but since it's got really good, it has had all of those elements.
I like to say it's the consistent week to week storytelling that made it good, but
which has had those elements
coincidentally. But at what point did you clock on to who it was?
So because there were only really 3 possibilities.
Well, I admit that sometimes I get the timeline of where Mando sits. Sometimes I forget where it is. So sometimes I think that it's before the original trilogy instead of it being after. So I'm thinking, is it Obi-Wan? Can't be because he's dead by this point, but I've forgotten that. So I think, who else could it be? That's surprising. That could be like a whole shit moment. There was no way in hell I was going to think that it was Luke. No way.
I did kind of. So there were only really 3 options, right? So it was either Ahsoka. Yeah. The other option, which would have been like quite out of the ballpark type, is it's Ezra from Rebels, because this would be the time that he'd be around now and he would be a Jedi.
Yeah, but who's going to recognize him? Because they were really making a big unveil.
Yeah, exactly. So as soon as you see like the cloak, and they give you a glimpse of like the hand in the black, and you're like,
soon as I saw him reach up and I saw the hand, I was like, no way.
And then you kind of think, have they actually casted this Stan Sebastian? Because people have been raving about how much he looks like Hamill. I don't see it, but apparently the internet does.
You have to look at younger images. I think people are getting stuck on how he used to look like 15 years ago rather than how he looks now.
And then the reveal, like you see that badass, right? You just see him like killing like trooper after trooper after trooper, like they're like toys essentially. Yeah. And you see it all play out through like a screen. Like some bits you see like from like remote cameras and stuff. Some you see it through a screen, and then you see that reveal, and you're like,
and it's kind of it's giving us that finally we get to see it, because we never truly got to see his badassery in the films. The same way we never really got to see Darth Vader's badassery until Rogue One in that hallway scene, and it's like, oh, this is why everyone's so fucking scared of him.
Yep.
And then he pulled down the hood. And Mo, see, last week you were talking about just recast them. It don't matter. Just get any old actor. Can you see how much difference it makes when you actually have the face?
Yeah,
even though it
but
was off a bit in the
no,
eyes.
no, it did look a little bit strange, but I was willing to forgive that because
Yeah,
it was just such a wonderful moment. But the
yeah.
problem there, Eddie, is that actually I wanted to look it up afterwards just see how they done that, and it actually was Mark Hamill, right? So that's the
He
obviously
got
when they.
credit, but it's a body double though. It's not his body.
I'd imagine it's him standing there, probably not doing the fighting and stuff, but when he was there,
What that I was listening to a
because
Star Wars. Excuse me, guys.
oh, hold on,
Podcast.
wait,
Oh
you're
no no
sticking
no
your
no
Star
no.
Wars and your Star
Because
Trek,
that's you. That's you with
casual,
your
you
seed.
filthy casual.
And as far as I know,
Yeah.
they gave him credit because they were using
Yeah.
his likeness, and he did comment.
Right. Okay.
And he did comment on Twitter about, has anyone seen anything interesting on telly today?
Yeah.
But as far as I know, he wasn't directly
Yeah.
involved in the actual
Because
scene.
I would have thought it's easier to like change a person's face if you're using like their older face as a template.
They have molds of everybody's face
Yeah.
though from the original
It's
trilogy. So yeah, to
but
scan those in.
but then how I wonder how difficult that would be to I don't even want to
Oh,
go down that road, right? Because if they do like what we really want is a Luke Skywalker show, right? That's what I would absolutely love.
it's
Um,
basically, guys, you go on YouTube. Disney has a R&D channel that deals with all of their developing technologies. Just the channel that deals with all the shit they're working on, all their robotic stuff, all of their CGI, their new developments of de-aging and creating faces of other actors that are no longer alive. Like it's a whole thing that Disney are putting money into and a lot of effort. So I think this is part of that. It's like deep fake, but 4K level, ultra computing.
Could they do
equivalent.
this for like a week-to-week show?
Oof, I don't know, man. Because like I said, it was a little off in the eyes. That's that slight little thing they have to. It was, man. It was.
Yeah, but I think it was off enough that it was
Not,
just
not to
it was not to like it wasn't a
break.
distraction.
Yeah,
It wasn't something that I have seen people criticize it. I personally wouldn't because I just
I forgave it.
yeah, I was just like wow, that
Yeah.
just that was like, Friday night like I've never had before essentially.
Yeah, yeah, and again I was watching it with a projector on the big wall.
Mhm.
Oh, the whole episode was amazing, but that moment, literally audibly, I had a I never do
Oh
that.
yeah, yeah.
Actually, something came out of my mouth.
Yeah. I even had like my friend Tam, who's like he's been a Star Wars fan his entire life. He was like texting me about I think like 8 o'clock. Have you seen it? Have you seen it? I'll go no. I'll go watch it now. And he's like, text me as soon as you finished.
Yeah, it was a cool reveal, man. Even the voice was spot on.
Mm-hmm.
Spot on.
Absolutely. So doesn't that just make you like all they've got 10 Star Wars shows like on the horizon, and all I really want is like just a Luke Skywalker show to like just show what happened afterwards.
Well, he's setting up the Jedi Temple, isn't it? That's the whole.
Yeah, unfortunately,
thing.
they painted themselves into a corner, really, haven't they?
Yeah, they
Because
established
essentially,
it.
it leads to him burning down the whole temple and then like disappearing.
Yeah, you know the end, and
Yeah,
the fact that it's just going to be him as a teacher every week, like Saved by the Bell with Jedi's, and he's whatever that teacher was called,
Mr. Belding.
Yeah. You don't want that. Yeah. Oh, so cool. Then post credits.
Oh, I'm glad you remembered that. I completely forgot now.
The Book of Boba Fett.
So that's another show, I guess, that they haven't announced.
Yeah, I think they had to establish that. I think some people are getting confused that is the next season of Mando not going to be with the current Mando. It's just going to transfer over to Boba. But I think they established that no, this is a separate show. That the current Mandalorian will get his own next one, and this is a whole other one.
Yeah. Because I have seen some people saying season 3 will be like the story of like Boba Fett. Like, that can't be quite right. Unless Mando is just that it is the Book of Boba, right? And it's like a massive crossover or team up season.
Yeah, but apparently different.
Oh, one thing we didn't talk about again, 2 episodes in a row. Mando takes off his mask.
Oh yeah, this one I get though. This one made sense compared to the computer scan that he finally got to show little Grogu, Baby Yoda, his face because never seen it.
And there was, which is even more bizarre, right? Because you think at least on his ship in front of a child, he would take his mask off. But we get no reaction from like any of like the rest of the crew.
Well, I don't think for them it's a big like. I guess it'd be like, oh, leaning around just to kind of get a good look to see. Oh,
Okay,
that's what he looks like.
Yeah.
But overall, I think most of them were like, dude, just take your helmet off, man. What's wrong with you?
It's gonna be hot under there.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I like that. Was cool, very cool.
Yeah,
but the thing is, you get that question then, what happened to Baby Yoda? What happened to Grogu? When we get to the point of when we see Luke again as an old man, did he die when the temple got burnt down?
We need a Luke Skywalker show now, don't we?
But that has to be a post.
I'm assuming that's the end of the Grogu story now, right? Next season is going to be something else.
I refuse to believe Disney are willing to put that money on the shelf and not bring as a cameo in other shows.
They'll announce like a Baby Yoda and Luke show, right?
Oh, no, thank you. No, thank you. Yeah. So, yeah. But are you interested in the whole book of Boba Fett, that he's like this gangland?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like the whole, like, you know, fat, out of shape Boba Fett, like taking over town, becoming like the gangster. Yeah, I actually think that could be fairly interesting.
Could be fun. I'm curious to see where that goes.
Fun. Could be total tripe, but it could be fun, right?
Could be.
Let's edge on like it being fun.
Yeah. So 3 shows next year. At some point, Mando will be back. Not sure the date on that one, but Book of Boba's at Christmas.
Yep.
And one other show. What one?
So Mando's already they're already filming that as well. So hopefully we'll get like a little bit of a few shows next year.
Now, apparently it's only
Wanda
3
coming next month.
Yeah, but that's Marvel though. We're talking Star Wars. I think there's only 3 Star Wars shows next year. I think they already said that.
Only.
Yeah, I know.
Only 3 Star Wars shows. Only Eddie.
Sport are we?
Cool, blimey.
Yeah.
I've seen a deal where, you know, well, I say a deal. You know, they're doing sign up for $59.99 for a whole year, and the prices are going to go up in February. I thought if I buy the gift certificate, and then I can redeem it in like February, when all that extra content gets added.
Yeah. Oh, so you're just going to wait until you get the Hulu stuff.
Yeah, because like there's no point at the moment. I've got so much of other stuff to watch.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. So thumbs up. A lot of fun. Yeah. Mando was a lot of fun this year.
Was indeed.
Yeah.
Now we come to the real hardcore sci-fi. The Expanse.
The grown-up sci-fi.
The grown-up stuff.
Took me a second. It takes a minute to adjust from the sort of colorful world of the Mando of sci-fi to the hard, harsh, stab you in the back political intrigue of the Expanse. But once I click my head back into it, all right.
It took me a while to get into it. I'll be fair. There wasn't a lot. There wasn't a lot going on in these 3 episodes.
Oh no, I think there was.
There was stuff going on, but it's the interesting stuff was far in between. But I think Amos might actually be my favorite character now, because he's just
yeah. That they've done a Fellowship of the Rings thing now. They split everybody up and kind of sent them on their individual journeys, which is kind of weird, but will be fun for when they all reunite back again.
Yeah. I think Amos might have also had the best line in the show so far. You know, where he's gone to meet Christian and she's giving him a drink, and he goes, "Your life experience is very different from mine, isn't Chrissy?" And she goes, "I'm a politician. Don't refer to me like I'm your favorite stripper." Yeah. And he takes a drink and he goes, "You could be both."
yeah. I
had to rewind that. I go, did he actually just say that to her?
The thing is, you think he's going to get caught up in the whole meteors getting sent down to the Earth? The first one's hit.
So absolutely, right? Because once that happens, I guess he's not going to be able to get off the planet. And I guess his real identity is going to come out as well, because they hinted at that. Like, if he gets arrested, they won't be able to help him.
Supposed to be dead. And then the people there's so much going on. There's like the whole arms thing on Mars.
Yeah.
To explain the show, to explain the show to anyone that doesn't know what it is, it's just it's too much going on.
I thought that was actually the most interesting of all the stories that are going on. What's going on Mars with Bobby and Kaz. And I love Kaz, like, just casually bumping into like this chick who wants to take him out for like a drink, and they're both playing each other, and they both know they're playing each other.
So Meek got the worst end of it though, man. Crazy, so fucked up. And dude, what I gotta say, it looks, compared to last season, which was pretty much just spent on this desolate planet, they look like they upped the budget crazy because they got so many sets that they were on in this one. So many.
Lots
The
of
effects
ships,
were
lots
nice.
of place. Yeah.
The technology, I'm thinking, dude, Amazon believe in this show, man. I don't know what the numbers are for their ratings. It can't be that massive, but they willing to put money in.
Yeah, but they've already announced like that next season is going to be the final season.
I guess they could reuse this stuff for next season, but still.
Which is a bit of a shame, right? Because apparently the books go on way beyond like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know why they're kind of ending it or whatever. And I also hear, I might need to go and recheck, but the guy who plays Kaz apparently has been a bit of a naughty boy and may not be returning for season 6.
What's he done? Is this a Perv Report thing?
I think he has got caught up in the whole Me Too thing.
What's he done?
I don't actually know, which hence why I'm not really going to talk about it and slander the guy, but I kind of caught a story a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, damn, man, because I actually do really like his character.
It's a weird character. What is he ethnically? Because it's weird, because he looks like he's Asian, but he's got this sort of southern accent, which sits weird.
He's born and raised in Canada, but they've all got weird accents on that show, right? I mean, like a lot of them are Canadians, and a lot of them have got like that belter accent.
That took me a minute to adjust back into it, but once you do,
and no one does the belter accent better than not Naomi, the other one, the one with like the tight sort of hair.
Yeah, the East Asian chick. Yeah, love it.
Yeah, and if you ever see pictures of her like out of her Expanse makeup, she is absolutely lovely.
I like her anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway. Yeah, getting in. You gotta admit though, that chick, the one that went to find her son, naive as hell, man. You knew that was gonna end badly. You knew it.
Yeah, absolutely. It just doesn't really make sense. Like after all the things that she's been through, where like Jim or Holden wants to help her, and is literally willing to drop everything.
Yeah.
And she just rejects him.
Then you gotta think that, but then you think, but she's a mother. She wants to rescue her son from this terrorist group that the dad's got her in. But then why'd she leave him in the first place? I can't even remember why she abandoned him. Is there a reason? Did they explain that?
I actually can't remember.
Yeah. But I enjoyed it. First 3 episodes. Was it 3? Yeah. 3.
Yep, I watched all 3 of them today.
And every Wednesday from this point on, which I'd forgotten they were doing. But
you know, that's actually quite nice that they drop it on a Wednesday and not a bloody Friday where everything else drops.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah, it's kind of nice, like midweek, have something like to look forward to.
Yeah. So I enjoyed it. I love it. Being back into grown-up sci-fi shit. I love it. Been a while. Well, it's Raised by Wolves, but this is more expansive. Pardon the pun. So news.
Right.
Not much of it.
Any chance? Did you watch the trailer, the one only trailer that I put into the trailers?
I did not. What was it?
I thought I just put it in here because of like at one point we used to love Supernatural. So this is Gerard Padalecki as Texas Walker Ranger.
I heard he was doing that. I haven't seen the trailer, but I heard he was gonna do that. Oh, who can like? That's a weird show because it was before it was Chuck Norris and it lasted forever. And it's not a show that anybody really loved. Like it wasn't a quality show. It was like
I've got a feeling there is a section of society that loves that show.
But he didn't do anything hardly in it. Like there was another team of younger guys that did the investigating, and then he would turn up and do his little spin kick at the end.
I actually didn't watch enough of the episodes to know what the show was about. I just assumed it was Chuck Norris, like just going on a ass-kicking spree every week.
Nah, he didn't do much. He was old by that point. But so the tall guy from Supernatural is now Texas. Did it look any good?
I'm going to check out the first episode when it airs just to see what it's like. But it is a CW show, right?
So we know. We know what it is.
So temper your expectations.
Yeah. I think the other dude got the better end of the stick being in the boys.
Yep.
Definitely.
Right. Let's get to the news then. Do you remember Revenge of the Nerds?
I do. Like, don't ask me to actually pinpoint things that happened in the film, but I remember as a kid watching it. And
I've actually got the Blu-ray for Revenge of the Nerds.
The last time you watched it?
I haven't actually watched it since I bought it yet. It's on my list. I actually might watch it over Christmas. I want to watch like a whole bunch of old films.
But when's the last time you actually saw it? Have you never seen it?
Oh my god, a long time ago.
So you don't remember anything either?
Well, apart from that, it's like a bunch of nerds who basically want to have revenge on
the cool kids,
on the jocks, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Is this a future? Does it hold up?
So potentially, maybe. I think we'll probably have to get over the whole Christmas
Yeah, this
stuff.
will be January.
Yeah. Seth MacFarlane, of all people, wants to reboot Revenge of the Nerds, and I could kind of see that working with him and his humor.
That could be fun. That sort of Family Guy, American, that type of humor. I think that could be interesting.
As long as he's not trying to play a high school student or a college student.
Yeah. But I don't know when the fuck he has time to do this shit. The guy has like a million shows juggling at once, but he'd probably just be an executive producer on it, but still.
He is like the TV version of The Rock.
Yeah.
Who occasionally goes into like film.
It really is. But with his sensibilities for humor, this could be fun. A little edgier.
Yeah.
More in jokes. This could be interesting.
Probably a little bit grosser. With a few of his in jokes.
What's it on though? Is it a Fox deal?
It's good. So it is a 20th century production. So they're going for like a proper feature film.
So this would be Disney then, technically.
No.
Adults.
Actually, that's a good point.
Yeah, adults here.
Yeah. Oh. Well, I mean, you can't do a Revenge of the Nerds film and not make it an adult. You can't do a Seth MacFarlane movie and not make it an adult film.
Is this definitely a film, though, not an ongoing series?
It's definitely a film, according to the press release.
Okay. That can be fun.
The most exciting news potentially this week, and I didn't even know this was a thing until I started researching stories this week, but Lily James and Sebastian Stan will be Pamela Anderson and Tommy Lee for a new series about the pair's infamous sex tape. Now, I know you're thinking, Mo, what? Hold on.
What?
They are making this into a series. Like Seth Rogen is going to play the guy who actually acquires the tape.
Oh, this is hilarious.
Yeah, this is going to be great, mate. So imagine, so this is all based like on a real kind of story, and it will and the guy who did I, Tonya, Craig Gillespie, will direct the show, working from a script written by Rob Siegel. Seth Rogen will produce and also plans to appear as the man who stole the tape in the first place.
Seth Rogen being involved in this means it's got to be good, because I've liked everything he produces, anything he's involved in. But Lily James as Pamela Anderson, that's not something I would. That's not.
So you're saying she doesn't have like the assets?
The plastic. Let's just say that she's a lot more natural. She's a lot more elegant than what that sort of bimbo cliche of what Pamela Anderson is. So that's a weird.
I mean, do you see Sebastian Stan as like Tommy Lee?
Tommy Lee's just Tommy Lee. He's just grow his hair. He's whatever. They should have just got the same guy to play Tommy Lee that did in the Netflix show about his band. That would have been good. Machine Gun Kelly, because he did actually surprisingly good job.
But can you see like how like once you kind of hear like what they're planning, it suddenly becomes so interesting?
Yeah.
Like it's just going to be like one of those dramedies, right?
Yeah, this could be funny as hell. Yeah. I'm into it. Bring it on.
Yep. Let's see. Oh, Chris Pine. I think this literally broke after we finished recording last week. Chris Pine is going to be starring in a new Paramount Dungeons and Dragons movie.
Yeah, we've been hearing about them wanting to remake this again. I think we even mentioned it a couple of weeks ago. But Chris Pine now?
Well, that means at least one thing, right? That means there is a serious amount of money being put behind this film, because A, we know Pine ain't going to work for free.
Yeah.
And B, he's going to have to be really happy with like what they're planning in the script. So far, they haven't really revealed anything about what version of Dungeons and Dragons this is going to be based on.
I think we know. If it's going to be Pine, then it's going to be more whatever the story from the traditional.
Oh yeah. I mean,
world, rather
I think
than
like
the cartoon of what we want.
Anyone thinking about the cartoon, I think that's just never going to happen.
And that's the only one everyone wants to see. That's the frustrating thing.
But I don't even know if Paramount owns that. I don't know if Paramount's name at all is like on that or anything.
Probably not. Well,
yeah. I know as like fans of I mean, I was like well into my teens when I realized that actually wasn't Dungeons and Dragons. Like Dungeons and Dragons was like the role-playing game.
Yeah, they just got the name. Made a whole new story out of it, which worked because it got people. Dude, the actual Dungeons and Dragons, the role-playing tabletop game, must have gotten so many fans from that cartoon. Just out of curiosity.
Have you ever played like a Dungeons and Dragons game?
I have not. I've heard they go. I've heard they potentially, if you go deep, could go on for days.
Potentially, yes. I imagine they could do. Yes, I'd love to actually try one time.
I wouldn't mind it. Someone that knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
Did you ever see the show? The guy from Dave Harmon. He's got a show, from Rick and Morty. Yeah. He's got a show, or had a show. I think they've got like 2 or 3 seasons where they play Dungeons and Dragons, but they animate the actual gameplay. So it's him with like comedian friends. So they're animating the gameplay, which is in the world. And it's actually fucking hilarious. It's really good. It's worth. I think Harmon Quest is called. Give it a look.
Harmon Quest. Was that a YouTube
Quest.
thing?
There might be a couple might got posted on, but yeah, it's actual. It's a pretty good show. It's gonna be. Yeah, we'll see. Wonder Woman 84. Didn't we already mention all this?
Yeah, we already done that. Yeah. So I'll just go on to a little bit of mini news. Obviously, biopics seem to be just the rage at the moment, and Whitney Houston is going to be the latest who's going to get one. Hers could be really interesting, right? Because she had a very interesting marriage with Bobby Brown.
It's going to be sad, man. You're just seeing this woman that was on the height of heights.
Hi, mate. She was Miss 80s, right? Miss 80s pop.
And then the typical thing, if you get involved with someone you shouldn't have from the wrong side of the tracks, and they just drag you down. And she just became a fucking drug addict and a mad woman and dying in a bathtub. That's not going to be fun to watch.
It's not going to be fun to watch, but again, it'll be an interesting story to see, right? It'll be, I think you literally described like the entire trajectory of her career. And like, if you weren't around in the 80s, you just don't understand like how big this woman was.
Yeah. Just imagine how at Beyonce at a peak, or friggin' Lady Gaga, or whoever the fuck.
Yeah.
And then just imagine they just.
So they've actually cast Naomi Aki. The headline here actually says that she's from Star Wars. I actually do not remember the character from Star Wars.
No, right.
I can't say there's any resemblance there whatsoever to make her look like
not really.
Whitney. But actually, like I said, there've been some very, very good biopics so far with like famous bands and pop stars. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with this.
Yeah, it depends who's doing it. Like director, the writer, like is there anyone interesting? We won't know till it.
I don't know if they've actually announced anything other than the star so far. Actually, let's have a quick look. See. Director Stella Meghi. Oh, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that straight. Has the backing of like Houston's estate, and the guy who wrote Bohemian Rhapsody is writing the script. So potentially, actually, 'cause that was a pretty good film.
Yeah. Potential, but then curious. Keep an eye on that one.
Yeah.
Most of this is probably much mini news as well, though. Zack Snyder, the Snyder Cut has finally of Justice League has finally got a release date, March the 25th.
March the 25th. So we're getting the real Justice League.
And he's been batting around possibilities of it getting a limited cinema run. So I don't know what the state of the world would be by March, but yeah.
I'd be surprised if they didn't do at least some form of cinema run, right? Because like you're spending $70 million on this thing.
Yeah, but how do you do that for a 4 or 5 hour thing? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, well, I said it's going to be limited, right? I mean, if they manage to get Scorsese's 3.5 hour The Irishman into cinemas, they can probably sort this out. Or maybe you do like a cut down version.
Oh, but then that's the whole problem again of you're not getting the pure. You want to watch the pure version finally.
Yeah. So that's a HBO Max release date, right? So we don't really know what's happening anywhere else in the world.
No.
Premium VOD.
Yeah, definitely.
A month after it comes out in the US.
Indeed. Unless they learned their lessons by that point with Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
National Film Registry. Now, this is a body in America that every year they put films into their registry, which is about preserving a film that represents a particular point in time, a certain decade or a certain year for future prosperity. And they've admitted The Dark Knight, Batman, The Dark Knight, for preservation for future generations, just in case an atomic bomb hits the planet or something.
It's a real bizarre thing, right? Because you'd think like, and we know from history that it's not happening, but like you'd think the film studios would like preserve their own films for like future generations.
It's true, but this is kind of like a museum type thing.
Like even like Kevin Smith was talking about like they inducted like Clerks, I think last year or the year before.
Really? They've lost all credibility. I was already on the fence because along with The Dark Knight, they've also put in Shrek. So I'm thinking,
No, come on, man. Shrek was like a defining film when it came out.
Defining. It was popular, but
It
it's no
was
Toy
very,
Story.
very popular.
It's no Toy Story.
Yeah, but
Come
how
on.
do you know Toy Story's not in there as well?
If it's not, then that's a real
Yeah.
crime. A bit late though to put like in 2020.
No, I think they do them years after they come out. Like I think, like Smith was saying, like I think it was last year or the year before. Yeah,
you have to judge. Yeah, you have to judge the impact in it on society in order to put it in. Yeah. So does that mean like 10 years time? You think Marvel will get one in there? Think Endgame could actually be there?
The Endgame, like that film that made like 2 billion in like 1 week, one weekend.
So that's pretty much it for this week. Another week under, and I think
Is it really Eddie? Is it really Eddie? Have we not got like Scrooge and Christmas Vacation?
Of course. Damn it! How could I forget? Does it hold up?
Does it hold up?
So we weren't sure which one to go for, and I expected you were just going to watch one, but you watched both.
I watched both yesterday. I had a late breakfast yesterday and like watched one after the other.
So National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, and
so I will say, yep, go on.
Scrooged.
One was better than the other.
What
a
one?
lot better than the other.
You got to be Scrooge. Has got to be the one you're high on.
No, I thought
Really?
Scrooge was going to be the better film, right?
It was,
and it just did not engage me.
It was better than National Lampoon.
Lampoon,
way better.
When I watched National Lampoons, I at least wasn't fiddling with my phone.
You had no interest last week to watch National Lampoon. You were like,
I know. I thought it was going to be the bad one, and I thought, Scrooge is going to be great because it's a film I remember just really enjoying as a kid, and even as a teenager and in my 20s. I've watched it like a few times.
Yeah.
I don't know why this time Bill Murray's performance was just a little bit grating.
That's the point, though. He's supposed to be an annoying bastard until he realizes the mistake of his way. Well, the Scrooge story and becomes,
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, it just I don't know. It just did not sit well with me. The only thing I think I really liked about this film was
Bobcat.
Well, he was pretty good. And the fact that I looked up like his girlfriend and suddenly realized I thought she looked familiar. She was Marion from like Indiana Jones.
There you go. Yep.
Was the end song the Annie Lennox version?
Yeah, classic.
I had to go and look. I was like, who does this version of the song?
Dude, did you look up? Oh no, without even looking up, do you recognize any of the kids in National Lampoon?
Oh yes, because I think this was the very first time I realized that the little boy was Johnny Galecki. I was just like, how many times have I seen this film and never put that together?
That's it.
I think this was just before he was in Roseanne, right? Because Roseanne would have been sort of like the early 90s.
Yeah, a little way before.
Yeah.
And then don't forget
Juliette
the daughter,
Lewis.
Juliette Lewis, yeah.
Again, I guess I didn't know who Juliette Lewis was. And I remember as a child, like when I was probably that came out in 88, so I'd have been about 12, coming on 13. I always used to think that version of Audrey was generally the hottest version of Audrey that they'd had at that point.
Yeah.
Because there's always a different set of kids.
Yeah, always. I get it, because they always took big breaks in between each film. Yeah. So they got too old. Yeah. Love me some Juliette Lewis, man. A lot of classic films in the filmography.
But I mean, I even started going through like the cast list as I was watching it, like saying who's alive, who's dead. And the lady who played the really old lady,
the wife's mum. The oldest one.
Yeah, the oldest one who's a bit like Batty. Yeah. She was the voice of Betty Boop and the voice of Olive Oil from like Popeye.
Wow, that's going back.
She was big like in the 30s and the 40s.
Yeah. Then you notice Everybody Loves Raymond's mum.
Oh yeah, I clocked on that one like straight away. I was like, oh bloody hell, that was like years before she was in that show.
In it and still just as old. Like it doesn't look like they. It's insane.
Yeah,
some people never young.
I think that one I guess I just found more interesting because I think it just gelled a lot better. It just moved at a better kind of pace.
It had a nice Christmassy feel, but for me, it was like a perfect background Christmas film. Like if you want your home to feel Christmassy, you just stick that on and then go about your business, and it just kind of has a vibe about it. The music, everything.
I mean, it's not like the ultimate Christmas film. I think my favorite Christmas film is the Harold and Kumar's Merry Christmas or whatever it is. I love that film. I think it's just so funny.
It's funny, but is it Christmassy? If you've got a family, are you gonna put that on?
Actual Christmas. Forget the family.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. Oh, and what's the face living next door from Seinfeld?
Oh yeah, Juliette Lewis Dreyfus.
Yeah, those the nightmare neighbors that just. Who
Literally
do you actually? Were they the nightmare, or was the Griswolds a true nightmare?
They were very pretentious, but they kept to themselves. Very right? True. They weren't really making trouble in the neighborhood.
Yeah, and they were just getting all this shit thrown at them from next door. Oh, poor people.
Remember when the lights come in, just completely blinded.
Or the tree through the window. Yeah, it's a fun film. Like I still enjoyed it, but Scrooge for me was just it has a little bit of a Tim Burton-esque vibe, and it's a little more edge to it. And I do like Bill Murray's crazy performance in it. So Scrooge still won out for me, definitely.
It's I never realized that film was directed by Richard Donner.
Oh, really? It does actually have that. Now that you think about it, it kind of has that same style as the Superman.
He's done like so many types of films. I don't know if he's actually got a style.
There's something about just maybe it's just the fact that he may have used the same cinematographer or something, but there's something about the quality of the image, the way he kind of directs shots that seems a lot similar now that you mentioned it. But yeah, for me, Scrooge, but for you, National Lampoon. So Scrooge. So for you, Scrooge doesn't hold up.
It did not hold up. Yes.
It's a shame. Good for me. So what are we gonna do next week? We're gonna keep it.
Well, I guess we're out of Christmas phase next week, right? Because the next time we record, it will be post-Christmas.
That's true, but that's the same. That's a shame. I want to keep Christmas. Okay, but what are we gonna do then?
So are we doing an actual show next week, or are we doing like our top 5?
Oh. All right, we'll just do our top 5. There can't be much news out for everything's got to be shut down by that point.
Quite possibly.
Yeah. So, all right, we'll just stick to our top 5 films of the year and movies of the year. And guys, why don't you send us yours? Be curious to hear what you guys think. Mo,
let us know what your top films and your top TV shows of 2020 were, because we know there weren't anything else going on. So we know you'd watch.
So I'm curious, man. Enlighten, especially if you're from a different place in the world. Like, what films that we probably weren't exposed to should we check out? Mo, how can they do that?
Right, folks, if you want to email us, we are at tatmpodcast@gmail.com. If you want to tweet at us, we are Talking Movies 3. And if you want to follow us on Instagram, we are Talking at the Movies.
That's it. And don't forget, check out Voltron Network on YouTube to see the video version of the show. So, from me, Ed the Reese.
And me, Mo. Have a very Merry Christmas, folks.
Big hugs, kisses. There you guys.